What's going on,
All right,
man?
we're
Yo,
live.
Yeah, what's going on, Facebook Live?
going on? We got Englewood branded in the building.
Got Big Bo Corey up on the side, you know.
Let's get
What's
it.
up, guys? So I'm trying to figure out how to. So this is a link, so I could share a link with people.
No, you can go on the Rebels with Peas on Facebook and then share it
Oh,
from there.
okay. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just leave it alone, and I'm just
Okay.
y'all. I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I'm just leaving it alone. I'm over there old school.
Yeah, it's a lot going on right now. But
Yeah.
what's going on, yo?
There's a lot going on, man. That's why we doing what we doing, man. Just to spread a positive message, just uplift the people, show them there's more ways out here to go about situations other than just shutting down or taking the negative route. You know, it's a lot of stuff to do out here. You gotta use your mind just to open it up. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that you guys have the opportunity to do so much more than others, because you're young and you got a torch that a lot of you guys don't want to carry.
Mm-hmm.
What you got to look at right now is that God, whatever God you believe in, whoever you believe in, just pause the world for you to figure some things out. You know what I mean? Gave you some opportunities to tap into your superpowers and figure out some things, because we go through life every day just going, trying to make it to the next day, make it to the next dollar. And because everything is so fast paced, you got to pay your rent, you got to take the kids, you got to do this, do that. So now we're put into the position where we have to spend time with our kids. Some of us that haven't been in school for years have the opportunity to go back to school now because you have to do this online with your kids. And I can be honest, like my daughter used to come home with fifth grade homework and it was nothing I could do to help her. I'm like, hey, you might be able to, let's go to YouTube. You know what I mean? So I'm a YouTube university advocate. Yeah, everything that I did pretty much when I picked it up, I came, I looked it up and, just went from there. So it's just like, this is the opportunity for you to really sit down and tap into what it is that you wanted to do with your life, whether that's, start your own business or brush up on the skills that you have within the business that you're in already, make connections with people, collaborations, or whichever the case is. So this is that opportunity for you to go ahead and tap into that.
Yeah, the right way, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
speaking up on the business side, man, like everybody know what we do. We Rebels of Peace, One Solution, Prince Jamar, Dejan, Eric, over here making moves up in the city of Chicago. But they don't know about the Englewood, man. Tell them about that. What's up with Englewood Brandon? What y'all doing?
Englewood branded. What's up with it? We take
Woo!
time to create, man. Uh, when the world open back up, it's going to be some different things pushed out, man. It's going to be a lot more flavor, some more. Of course, I've always geared toward uh, the bridge and the gap with the designs to be able to make them for age 8 to 80 or younger and older. You know what I mean? So we're gonna play with the colors a little bit, have a little different styles for the women. Right now, we tapped into the masks because it was such a necessity. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. Have you?
Man, I saw him, man. I need like 10 of them.
I know, right? Hold on, let me grab one real quick.
He got the mask,
Mass
man.
Mac and I
Mask so
see them
dope.
joints yesterday. I'm like,
Like,
let me cop one of them joints.
like we staying
Oh,
sanitized,
bro.
and we in
Yeah.
fashion, so y'all go
Right.
cop one, man.
Yeah. So with the mask, I didn't want to approach it the regular way. I wanted to definitely be fashionable and definitely make it to a point to where people will want to wear them. So of course it's E-Dub.
Yeah.
Whoo, big dog. Okay.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
it's simple. So,
Yeah.
we're right now it's two colors. but it's a series. So I started out, I was just going to do 25 of each design in 2 colors, and this is the brown one.
Yeah,
so
that's the one. I like that joint.
I started off like that, and the demand was kind of crazy. So I'm pumping out some more of these now, but then next weekend I'm gonna drop a new design, and definitely kids and stuff like that, so it'll be able to go. I don't know what happened. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, we good.
Okay, because I don't see y'all at all, but that's cool. Oh, there you go. All right. It look kind of. I hate talking to myself, man. That's kind of. So yeah, we got that, and then once the madness is over, we're gonna be tapping into the renovation. So we're gonna do like a whole new. Come fall, everything here will be different.
Snap.
Yeah,
He
but
going
then
crazy. He in my head
Yes,
right now.
sir.
so we also taking it right now to put energy into our youth events and the not-for-profit brand in Englewood, so we can make sure that we have not only the best possible safe summer for the youth, but just engage them in activities and get them to dream building. You know what I mean? And I say dream building. Y'all know y'all heard it here first. But when people start taking it and running with it, y'all know where it came from. And when I say dream building, I say it in a sense that a lot of times you have these dreams and you sit back and you think about your future and things like that. But I'm sorry, hold on one second. You do these things, but you really don't create a pattern to them. So when you got this dream building going, you're able to tap into those dreams and make a connection to them, kind of sort of build an outline that'll help you reach those dreams, help you reach those goals. So now that you're dreaming and you're writing it, and you're writing it step by step, and you're adding pieces to it to create that ultimate. So that's something that I'm going to roll out in the Brandon Englewood course. When dealing with the youth, and that's just dream building, because you have to build, just like your life, you have to build it. You have to be able to make those decisions, and that is the goal: making positive decisions, and positive decisions that's going to affect you in a good way and great light throughout not only just you but everybody that's around you. So it's very important that you build that team around you that are dream builders as well.
The right way, man. That's inspiring me, man, to go do more.
And as it
Yes, sir.
should, just like each conversation that you have with your peers, those conversations should be conversations of growth. You can't elaborate on what happened yesterday too much. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times we find ourselves elaborating on our friends that got caught up in the life, and some of them ended up losing their lives, and some of them ended up in jail. You can talk about those people, but you also got to think about that one that ended up in jail. What went wrong for him? You know what I mean? And the one that ended up dead, like, what would he want to see if he were alive? How can you make his dreams or his goals come to reality? Just in his name. Like, a lot of times we take the negative attributes and we build on them and linger. I'm sorry.
Now you can keep on going,
Oh, okay. I thought it was something else. So yeah, that's it.
man. So, man, it's interesting that you brought that up, because I'm going through the same situation. Like that's why I'm isolated right now. I'm just sitting up in my car just to myself right now, because like I'm going through the exact same situation that you just spoke upon, and it's like, man, I don't know, man. It just be crazy, man. How things can just go left when you making the wrong decision. Like when your mind's not in the right place, it's just crazy how things can just go left automatically when your mind not in the right place.
Yeah, and that's where the mental health support should be strengthened. You know, you have to think about it. Like I'm really liking the way some of these things are going right now, because when you look at the artist now, listen at Herb. You hear Herb, he just dropped the whole PTSD, and that is killing our community, because our youth are they're so traumatized and so nervous, because every day they're looking around the corner. Prime example: the first hot day we get, a 3-year-old baby gets shot on 85th and Damon. Along with that 3-year-old baby, I think it was 4 other people that got shot. One died right away. And it's like, how do we live our summers not looking around the corners and not, being scared? So it's like, to be able to have moments like these, conversations like these, I would imagine the next time we have something like this, we could have 50 people on the line, 50 people able to have a conversation, because at the end of the day, it's a part of mental health, and that stability is very important, especially when you're young and growing and trying to get to the next level. And for some of you guys that's really doing good, it doesn't matter, because the hairstyles and the swag put you in the same category as those that are out here doing wrong. So it's like, it's a catch-22 for you, because as much positive you have, your imagery still shines like
the culture
that are not doing good, the culture. So some in certain ways, the culture is a gift and a curse for young people, because we deserve to be as fly as we want to be. We deserve to have our heads. We deserve our dreads. We deserve to be able to have our hoodies on. We deserve to be able to live and dress the way we want to, without being stereotyped, without being mistaken identities. You know what I mean? Things like that. So what I could say to you, while you thinking about those situations in your car, I need you to fast forward that and think about your situations for the future. Like, what's your step? That's your dream building. You building those steps, and you making an outline so you can move forward. Because what you got to think about, if you really sit there and dwell too long on that part of it, that's going to put you in that situation mentally. So you got to take those and you got to lift those people names up in prayer, and you got to lift them up in spirit so you can continue to go. And I'm not saying you have to sit back and reflect, because reflection is what gives you the ability to move on. Sometimes it's very rare that we have people to talk to nowadays that can understand what we're going through, because it's such a bridge gap. But one other thing that I want to tap into is that you guys, and I say that in a term, speaking of this generation of youth, your coping mechanisms are not good. Your coping mechanisms are into drugs. They're into, negative downplay. So it's like, you have to learn how to redirect your coping mechanisms. You have to find that you can mentally tap into, that's not a delayed process. You know what I mean? And I think marijuana is legal now, so I guess it's a little more accepted, but you still have to look into it. There's still different types. Still different types of marijuana. So, and I encourage you guys to start looking into this stuff. When you buying this stuff, ask what's in it. Ask where it came from, who grew it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of kids walking around here that just had some bad marijuana. And it turned into some situations that's, different, like all of these pills and stuff like that.
Man, yeah.
It's the decisions that you make. The decisions that you make will definitely shape your future.
Man, I don't see why you're not a motivational speaker. I don't see why you don't
I'm motivating you right now. You know what I mean? See, a lot of times what people don't understand is that what's for you is for you. You know what I mean? I could package it up and roll out there, but it won't be as precious as it is right now. You know what I mean? I honestly believe that God made me to be able to reach those that he bring to me. You feel what I'm saying? Because you guys came to me. So as you come to me, I feel like I want to be able to help you because you came. Like, a lot of the times you can force yourself on somebody and it don't mean anything to them because they didn't want you there. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many times your mom had you in a room with somebody talking to you, you didn't want to listen to them? How much of that stuff did you actually hear? You feel what I'm saying?
Man.
So for me, it's just better when y'all come for me. Like, you got to look at it. I'm surrounded by like young guys that's doing good. You got yourself, you got Sam, you know Sam, Sam Sparks, you got Katie Yonkaki, D Brooks, Exclusive. Like, these are the guys that God put around me. Low T, my son, DJ Lil Corey. Like, these are the guys that he put around me. And I feel like those guys are the ones that I have to directly pour into. But see, that's when the umbrella opens, because when you guys bring guys in, I'm understanding that you made them understand that I was worth being around.
Right.
You feel me? So it's like they're coming in and they like, man, look, D just got some game. Let me get some. You know what I mean? Whether it's and not so much game, but it's just like, a lot of times you have to be able to inhale what you're breathing in. And I'm not a person that I don't think that I'm like y'all elder. I don't see myself as y'all homie. I just see somebody as a person that has made mistakes. Fortunately, some of the mistakes I made, I was able to learn from and make different decisions. And the decision making is very important, and you guys have to understand that. Just like when you're choosing your mates, you know, I understand y'all young right now, and when you're young, everything is pretty, everything is fly, and you should be able to date and figure out like what's gonna be compatible for you at this particular time. A lot of times we go into the beauty of a person physically, and their inside is rotten, and you learn that out later, and it's like now you feel like you into something that you have to do because you did it. You made this choice and this commitment. Now you want to say, all right, I'm here for you, I can do this and do that. And you know, meanwhile, you done missed your whole life trying to pour into somebody that wasn't able to grow. Because their seeds were dead. You know what I mean? So every time you tried to water into them, it didn't work, because the root of something there just wasn't there, because it wasn't ready. And you guys have to understand that. Yeah, okay. I can go too far. But yeah, give me some questions or something, man. I feel like I'm talking.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff, man. So tell us why you started Englewood Branded.
Oh man, I felt like it was a necessity. My community is all that I had, and everywhere that I went, it was with me in heart. Everything that I do to this day, 90% of it is I learned it here growing up. Originally, I was born on the west side. We moved to Englewood when I was like 5 years old. So from that time, I've lived in several addresses in Englewood, and no matter where I was, there was never any problems for me. Never. I was never pressured into joining gangs. Every gang that I was around, they showed me respect and love, and never tried to lure me in. And I felt like that part of it was amazing, because that was God telling me that I had to be something special. So from that part, even from there, and my neighbors at the point, you know, at that time, neighbors were nosy neighbors, and they were expected to be nosy because they were the village. You know what I mean? And I know you guys heard it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
And back then it was a village, because my neighbors wouldn't let me get into anything. The gangbangers wouldn't let me get into anything. The drug dealers wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me sell drugs. I never held a gun in my life until last year that I shot it on New Year's. I'm 44 years old, and the first time I've ever held a gun was last year on New Year's. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Growing up in Chicago.
Growing up in Chicago and Englewood. So for me to do this was kind of like my ode to Englewood. I appreciate everybody that let me pass through. I appreciate everybody that supported my goals and my dreams, from basketball to, and that was another thing, I played ball. So everywhere I went, it was, I had a basketball. So that really helped me pave the way as well, because, a lot back then, the neighborhood believed in hoop dreams. They believed in, you got that one kid or that one person that can make it out. And I, fortunately, I was able to make it out. So when I went away to school, everything that I did, I wanted to be able to represent Englewood while I was gone. And I wanted to be able to say, I'm from Englewood, and they tell me, well, you're not like what we hear. Exactly. Because y'all hearing what the media gives you. You don't hear what's actually going on in those people that are there. So that is one of the reasons. And then my four principles: the love, respect, honor, and dedication. Those are all things that I feel for, because it made me who I am today. And I knew that there were a lot of people that felt that way about Englewood. So I knew that presenting this and bringing it out, I was be able to tap into those that love their community and those that know the growth of their community. And it's growing right now.
And everything growing, man.
Yeah.
So with the face mask, is are those the only things that's keeping you busy during the quarantine while you doing some other things?
No, not at all. I'm doing some other things. I'm doing some printing, trying to get stocked up and loaded up for when the world open back up. But I'm also working on a website. So the website is something that I will be launching within the next few days. So the website, new designs. I'm working on the stuff for the kids. I'm getting together events for the summer or the fall, whichever we can come outside. One of the big events that I'm going to focus on is the summer kickoff. I'm going to do an ice cream social.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to turn the lot on the corner into a ice cream parlor outside.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that I really want to be able to get the kids and the adults. I want to get everybody engaged in this, because ice cream is one of the things that kids love. And you put yourself around things that kids love, you'll see the admiration and you'll see the future in them. And hopefully that can take that to that. And you see all of these kids gathering and all these families and these people and say, yo, look, we need to do this more often. We need to, in order to do it more often, though, these young people have to allow it to happen by making smart decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand, like, people got issues, and that's fine. It's nothing you can do about that. But hopefully when seeing this ice cream social and seeing the people, communicating together, laughing together, having ice cream and creating bonds and relationships, that it could kind of spill over until, other things. And hopefully we can take that and give it a positive ride throughout the summer. So that's one of them. We'll definitely be bringing a lot more with Brandon Englewood. I started it last year, and all of these events will be coming under Brandon Englewood. Mm-hmm. So started it last year as a non-for-profit, and I'm waiting, once the renovation gets done, then we'll start pulling out the actual curriculum for it, of which we're going to be providing so much, helping kids start their own businesses. We're going to be teaching DJing, screen printing, music production, music writing. We're going to have women working with kids girls starting at 6th grade, about hygiene and building character and things like that. And we're going to be working with different schools. So I'm trying to target the schools to bring it into an after-school program. So that's one of the things that's really going to be pretty big for us this year. In terms of Englewood branding itself, just being able to give the people what they want, being able to provide continued quality. I want to be able to pride off that, and not only quality, but fashionable quality that I can reach for each age. We got the kids line is about to drop, so I'm gonna have a kiddie corner over here with nothing but the kid clothes. I'm increasing on the women's side to be able to provide more for them in the fashionable sense. And Edub. Edub is here now. I don't know if you
Oh, what's going on,
Oh,
Edub?
my boy.
Word, man.
Hey, let's get it.
Edub is here now, so we're going to be taking Edub out to all of the block parties. Every block party in Englewood, if we know about it, Edub will be there. He's going to be taking out some gifts, some raffles. We're going to be doing these dance contests with the kids, and just getting Edub familiar with the community. That's going to be big for us. So we're bringing him out first, and then we'll see how it goes. And he's also going to be available for kids' birthday parties if they want to rent per that day, and things like that. So when I look at things like that, when I think about bringing something out, I want to be able to provide substance behind it, so people can like really see like the whole vision. Edub is so important to me because he is that one person that can kind of bridge all gaps. He can, he's kid friendly, he's adult friendly, he's elder friendly, but most importantly, he has the mind frame that everybody can figure out how to get along. So we're doing these things that he's working on a cartoon. Yeah, so a cartoon, an anti-bully cartoon, a coloring book will be coming out soon. So just a lot of things that kind of evolves around him because it's something that catches people's attention. So since we have the attention, we're going to make sure that we can try to benefit from each portion of it to make sure that we have the kids' safety is number one. So yeah, those things like that.
Man, y'all crazy,
something
man.
else I forgot. We are going to be doing a tour.
A tour.
Yeah.
How you missed that part? Slip that out?
I don't know. So we're starting out in Houston. We were supposed to be in Houston March 27th, but the coronavirus kind of shut that down. So we're waiting for the dates to come back to that. So we're doing 4 cities starting out. We're doing, well, actually 5. We're doing Houston, New York. It's Houston, New York, Atlanta, of course, Chicago, and then I'm going to do Arizona.
Yeah.
And so these are the 5 places we're hitting between when outside open back up in October. Well, actually August, because we're doing a fashion show as well.
Dang.
So the bad part about this Corona thing is that it kind of pushed everything back. But the good thing about it is now that it's pushed back, there can be more effort. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone was ringing. Yeah, so now be more effort put into it. So that's what I'm most happy about, to be able to do that.
Man, so like, man, you got a lot going on, man. So like dealing with this virus, like how do you, like, with all the negative things going on, how do you keep your motives to keep on going?
It's not negative to me. It's a sign to put more energy into other areas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can't go outside. Okay. But you got to remember, I was never outside anyway. So this ain't bothering me not one bit to that, because I don't go to clubs. I don't go out and drink. I don't smoke. None of that stuff affected me. The only thing that affected me was the possibility of my children being sick. You know what I mean? I was already sick. And now that this is going on, I'm thinking that's what it was. Because remember, I had to close my store for a week. I couldn't move. I couldn't, all of that. So it's like, I don't want my kids to fall into that realm. So I make sure that I take the precaution of that. But other than that, I was never outside anyway. Everybody always like, why you didn't come here? Why you didn't come there? I just didn't make it. Sorry. But to be honest, I don't like outside. To me, is different than when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I could come outside and play, and if those members felt like it was going to be something, they came and say, "Yo, y'all go in the house.
Right.
It's about to get a little weird out here, or whatever." That's the respect that they gave us. Right now, they don't care. They just shooting at everything that's out, and that's where the problem comes in. You know, people gonna do what they gonna do, but like you gotta have the respect for the kids and the elders. And you know, I'm just hoping that one day they can just say, you know what, this is beyond us. This is it. We ain't gonna do this. And I
So
think
what type of like advice would you give to those people that's like is in that mindset and like shut down because of this, because of the virus going on?
it's simple. Find something to recreate yourself with. This is a moment. This is a moment for people to really get it together.
Yeah.
Like they pause the world, right? And then they print up all this money. Remember, they ain't had no money. But look at it. They print up all of this money to give you a loan, not to support you through grants. Some of them are grants, but the majority of them are loans that you have to pay back. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there's still another way to get you. But, you know, it is what it is.
And
you got some dope stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I was wondering, Corey, like, you know, a lot of people that we work with are in the nonprofit or activist or trying to make some kind of change. And one thing I noticed with you is like, there's always people around you. You're always doing something. People are coming to you, which tells us that you have some kind of vibe that people want to be around, and you're trying to make positive change. And I know there's a lot of people trying to make change, but they don't know how, or they maybe are afraid, or they don't think they have anything of value. For those people who like want to make a difference, but they're scared or lack confidence, do you have any advice in terms of people who have that kind of mental sticking point?
I think for those people, they should get involved with someone that kind of encourages them. You know, get involved with someone that not only you can relate to, but that you can talk to about this. Because what a lot of times people don't understand is that you put the people around you that you want to see yourself someday be like. You know what I mean? You want to see yourself grow and glow like this person. And a lot of times people are so envious, they won't allow themselves to do that. So I think it's time to, you know, start being around these people that you admire, people that you see making these moves and these decisions that affect them positively and ultimately puts some type of push behind you. Because I think one of the problems nowadays are people definitely look at everybody as competition opposed to look at people as what do you call them? They look at as competition opposed to like partners or what do you used to call them back in the day? I can't even like sometimes you got to look at people as study partners. You know what I mean? Right. Back when you were in school and you had this assignment that you had to get out, and your teacher assigned you to a partner, or you kind of clicked with somebody good enough that y'all did homework together or stuff like that. Like it's really time for people to start looking into things like that, because you never know. You're stronger together than apart. Mm-hmm. Especially if you can get on the same page. But a lot of times people have to allow that opportunity to talk and to grow. So I would just say try to find somebody that you kind of admire and look up to. You know, you may not be able to tap into Michael Jordan, but it's somebody that's, you know what I mean? It's somebody that's around that kind of motivates you, and just, you know, get around those people. I look at a lot of the people that admire me and that keep me going nowadays are younger than me. All of them, my nephews, you guys. Like, y'all motivate me because you're young and you're doing positive things. You know, so if it can tap into you, it could tap into somebody else. The whole Rebels for Peace movement, that's something that's great, and it's something that keeps you guys working and focused on, you know, doing better, providing better. And you got to think about it. You even got the young rebels.
Mm-hmm.
And so imagine what you could do with the young rebels, catching them at that age and pouring into them the positivity that you have now.
Yeah, that's how we see it too. Because like because we do feel like if we mold them at a young age, it's gonna stick with them more. Because you feel me, you gonna mold it into them already.
Yeah, but you got to have something to mold.
Yep, right about that.
You know what I mean? You got to have something to mold, and a lot of times you need to and like with me, when I met you guys, you see how I vibed with you because it wasn't about me. I wanted to be able to learn the things that you guys like. Y'all, the people riding around. Y'all heard them.
Yeah, man, they going crazy.
Yeah. So it's like you just gotta, you know, that just made me lose my train of thought because I'm really tired of hearing it, man. It's like we ain't even tapped into nothing yet. You're supposed to be in the house and these guys are out here going crazy. But yeah, what was I talking about? don't make this no funny moment.
Well, you were saying about the molding with the kids.
I was just trying to see if you was listening, to be honest.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to, like with you guys, I sat back and listened because it wasn't about me. But I understood that you guys wanted to be here. So I have to learn you. I have to see what it is you like. I have to see how you move. And at that point, it's all about catching those vibes. If I catch it, then we'll talk and we'll move forward. And, you know, and I told you one thing that I always told you, whatever you need me to do, I got you. The only problem is my time has been so crazy that I wasn't able to get to a couple of those podcasts. But when y'all reached out this time, I'm like, I cannot let this pass.
That's why we on now.
I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working on me. And that's one of the biggest things with me is just time. You know, time and time management. And that's always been a horrible thing for me, was time management. And now I think that this is something that has me paused so I can get time under, because like it doesn't make sense to show up late to meetings or to be off task or have someone's order late or whatever the case is. Everything should be accordingly and move. So I put in some different steps to do that, ordering different softwares and things like that to be able to kind of track and put me in the right place and elements. So yeah.
That's cool. I know we would love to talk to you forever. We actually got a new guest coming on he's on right now. Oh, did he disappear? That's so funny. He disappeared exactly when we were putting on Victor. But yeah, we got Victor waiting on the line. So if Corey comes back, we can ask.
Shout out to for coming on, Corey. Much love.
Yeah, thank you so much, Corey, for coming on. Should we bring on Victor, or do you guys have any comments before we put on Victor?
Man, y'all go check out Englewood. Man, y'all go check out Englewood brand and go get them face masks, stay sanitized, and be on the lookout for they amazing thing that's going on up in the summertime, the fall, when everything open back up. And hold on, and they finna go crazy. So put on my boy Victor. Victor.
Right. And I would say about Englewood brand, because it's in Chicago, you can of course just go to the store and buy it. But I think on the new website you can order and you can get it if you're outside of Chicago too. So if you want some of that stuff, one of the things I love about Corey that you don't have to be from Englewood in order for him to support it. It's almost like a vision that goes beyond Englewood. So he has a huge vision to change Englewood to be a positive impact in Chicago, but also in the world. So go to his website. It's coming up soon, I think he said. So go check that out and get some stuff from him.
Englewood merch.
All right. All right, let's put on our next guest. You ready for Victor?
Yes,
All right.
Honestly curious. Let's get it.
All right. He should be joining. Oh. Let's see if he shows up again. All right. Do you guys want to introduce Victor while he's coming on?
it's Prince Mark. Like Frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
What's up, man?
There we got him. You're a
Am
little
I,
bit tilted.
Am I on the right? Am I tilted?
Yeah, you're like
You're
this.
tilted, man. You're tilted.
Man, I thought I was gonna be.
You might need to open up on the thing or something.
How's this?
That works.
Better? I put you in a cup.
Creativity already in the dough. Creativity. So, man,
What's going on, guys? Good to see you.
Man, it's going, man. It's going, man.
How are you guys staying sane?
I'm staying sane by just trying to keep a positive outlook upon what's going on, man. Just don't let it take over my mindset in a way, because like a lot of negative things been happening to me, like apart from the virus. So it's that so I just been trying to look at things from like positive perspectives, just trying to see the good side in every situation, just trying to stay positive and like not let the negative things just overwhelm my mind where like it overwhelms me as a whole, you know. So I'm just
Well,
trying to stay positive.
What's overwhelming right now?
There's basically family issues.
Yeah, the world doesn't stop even if the coronavirus is here.
Man, it's like it's just stuff just piles on top of piles, but it's like it's good that like I think the way I think, because back then, like if I knew what I knew, I'd probably be in a different situation right now, because I wouldn't have knew how to handle what I was feeling. I would have probably been in a different situation. But I just feel like it's good, like to think how I think, because it's like when things get overwhelming, I'm not in that mindset no more where I gotta go out and do negative things. I'm in a mindset where I can work on it as like I can work on it personally instead of going out doing it to other people. I can work upon myself by myself instead of going out lashing out, overthinking, panicking. I can do my stuff by myself in a way. Yeah, so I just been staying positive, just trying to stay out the way, stay sanitized, self quarantine myself, and just chill, man. Just still try to spread my message, keep my message going, and just keep the vision alive. Basically, I'm just trying to keep my vision alive.
And let's introduce Victor before.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
There might be people.
Went into the question, so I'm like, I gotta answer it.
For people who don't know Victor, he is a professional interviewer, so he has his own podcast, which you should check out. I Am Consciously Curious. So you saw how quickly he started asking us questions.
Oh crap!
It was off the bat. So, but yeah, so. For everyone who doesn't know him, check out I Am Consciously Curious. He'll share a little bit about why he chose that name and what it's about. But we found him randomly, I think via Instagram or social media, and we started seeing his interviews. And we saw how he interviewed people from all kinds of different backgrounds in every field of work. And it was interesting to see like how different people were, but also how he was able to find like a common thread in all of them. So you could feel like you can relate to anyone. And I love that, because you had a very diverse crowd. You never know what the next interview is going to be. And the second thing is you got a clothing brand that is I Am Consciously Curious. So I want you to share more about that. But before we do that, tell the people a little bit about you, in your words, what you're up to, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's good to see your friendly faces, alive and well and healthy and thriving. So a quick little intro about me. By trade, I'm a paramedic. I teach an EMT class at the University of Illinois. We're still teaching that. We migrated all of our lectures online, and we're trying to think of a creative way to incorporate the hands-on component of the class. So our students cannot finish the class without learning how to use the equipment that an EMT would come to know. And so we've pushed all that back towards the end of the semester. And, right now, the university has actually told that even our summer semester is going to be all online. So we're trying to play by the university's rules, but we're also thinking like if we can limit like the groups to maybe 10 people tops, while practicing social distancing and wiping everything down after every use, we can try to get this spring semester through, and then they can actually challenge the licensing exam and then become EMTs, because without the hands-on component, they can't become EMTs. So everything's kind of like delayed as far as that. Regardless, super grateful for a job, super grateful for a steady paycheck. I know a lot of people in the hospitality industry that have come on the podcast are currently, they're just now getting their unemployment checks. And even after getting the unemployment checks, it's probably still not enough to cover everything. And, being a paramedic by trade, I'm actually no longer on an ambulance right now for reasons we don't have to go into right now. But I have several friends that are still, on the front lines, in the hospitals, in the ERs, on the ambulance, having to wear one mask for the whole day, if not several days at a time. And it's gone on long enough to the point where there's actually one death at UIC that I just got an email about. And then there was one death on the fire department that happened a couple days ago. And due to COVID. And so, the COVID doesn't like discriminate to age. If you have like hypertension, diabetes, or you're immunocompromised, you are definitely more at risk. But don't be naive in thinking just because you're younger or you're healthy that you're not going to be at risk for this. Everyone's at risk. And so what's like confusing to me is like, even after this social distancing is over and we start, what are we going to do now? We're going to go back to hugging and kissing and shaking hands. I don't know, like how normal is the world gonna go back? How much of what we're practicing right now is going to stay? What is the new normal? So those are kind of like the big picture questions kind of I've been thinking of. As far as the podcast goes, the podcast was originally like kind of like a clothing company idea. I kind of knew some friends that started their own brands, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that. I wanted to flex my creative muscle. And I created a couple tees and hoodies and stuff like that, and it never really took off. And you quickly realize that anyone can design something, print it, and try to sling it. But what makes a brand truly stand out? What makes a brand, by seeing that Nike swoosh logo, what does that mean to you? And so then I started diving into how to build a brand. And, I was always a fan of podcasts. I listened to many podcasts before I started my own, and now everyone and their mother has a podcast. And so I had a thirst for deep dives, deep conversations. I'm not a guy for small talk. And so it started with my inner circle of friends and kind of people who I knew in my immediate circle. And word got out that, Victor has a knack for asking kind of questions that people don't usually ask, especially to people that have been interviewed before. That's the hard part, is how do you make the interview interesting for someone who's been interviewed dozens to hundreds of times? So that's kind of how the podcast was born as well. But these days, how I've kind of been staying sane right before the social distancing kind of was put into effect. I kind of put myself into a hole and like bought like a Sony A7 III. So I was planning to make a lot of like creative videos for some people coming up. And I haven't been able to do much of that. So I kind of posted something yesterday of
Oh,
just me
I saw
making
it. The coffee
just
sequence.
just me making coffee.
That was
Um,
dope.
yeah, I there was a challenge put up by Artlist.io. They're a company that provides licensing for sound effects and music, and first place gets a lifetime membership of their music and their sound effects. So I put something together, like a 30-second clip, and I actually redid it just now before hopping on this live stream. And I'll be adding sound effects to it and whatnot, and I'll put on YouTube and stuff. But that's kind of like, this is a new skill that I'm learning right now. And so it's easy. We have the luxury of not being on the front lines, being really at risk of getting COVID, you know, as long as you're practicing social distancing. And I personally am not at risk for unemployment, to my knowledge. That being said, I am always 1 to 2 paychecks away from homelessness. I truly acknowledge that as well. So acknowledging that luxury, it's easy to waste your time on Netflixing and chilling, as well as sitting on the porch. A couple days ago, I saw in the Sun Times that 21 people were shot, 7 people killed, and it was like a summer day out. That the wet, you know, as the weather gets nice, people stay out and hang out. But it's easy to waste your time on anything. And right now is the time to experiment. Um, if there's a new skill set or hobby that you've been meaning to try, there's really no financial or economic consequence if you fail. If you have the luxury of staying home, why not give it a shot? Something that's truly challenging, and you have the possibility of coming on the other side on top of winning. And so I've been collabing with a bodybuilder powerlifter called the Natty Pro. I'll be posting more stuff from him recently, but he actually brought me on to produce his own podcast. And so we've been going back and forth. I've been making some really nice videos for him recently, but he's the one that's kind of been putting that mindset in my head. And it's truly easy to let your time go to waste. But this is the time to, if you're bored, there's only so many, shows on Netflix you can watch, to learn something new and cultivate a new skill set. So by the time we're able to go back into the real world, we're kind of ready to take it head on, maybe in a new direction if that's what you're interested in. But in addition to the podcast, I'm hoping to make some creative videos for possibly the people that I've had on the podcast before, to try to get some money into my pocket, because right now the podcast is draining me. But that's what I've been doing to stay sane, and that's kind of the advice I have for everyone who's listening is just stay busy, stay challenged. It's easy to sleep in till 11 in the morning, noon. It's easy to Netflix. It's easy to overeat. It's easy to say, the gym's closed, I'm not going to work out. There's a lot of body weight stuff that many people are putting on the Instagram right now. So stay busy. That's kind of my advice. Stay safe and stay busy.
And I'm curious when with your experience seeing so many different people, because I would say that for some people they might like go in their bubble and might be able to create something or do something creatively, and there are some people who for some reason are not, and I don't think it's anybody's fault. This is just what happens to us sometimes, is that we feel we get stuck or isolated, or our motivation just drops, or we hear people say, oh, you can use this as an opportunity. You're like, shut up, I don't want to hear that, I just want to lay around. You know what I mean? Like, you just like don't want to do anything, or like, there's a lot of people getting depressed in this situation. There's a lot of people, because of what has happened, are not able to see hope, are not able to see opportunity, and feels like they're victimized by everything that's happening. And I know that's a phenomenon that happens to any business owner at some point, or any person in any life. So I'm curious, for people who Michael, I hear what you're saying about doing something, but like, I'm not able to, like, I'm just so down on myself, or I'm so overwhelmed by the situation. Like, what have you seen in terms of getting humans to see beyond that? Or what do you say to someone if you met a friend that was feeling like that?
I think Corey nailed it on the head with this one when he said, kind of surround yourself with people that you admire or you aspire to be. And in this case, in our situation right now, hopping on live streams like this or Zoom calls or FaceTime, you know, if you're thinking about someone, it's not hard to shoot them a text. It's not hard to FaceTime them. And so although we can't be kind of in person with each other, it's not hard to touch base with someone that you've been thinking about, especially someone that you think could maybe snap you out of a funk, and give you some hope. Um, to me, I mean, hanging out with Ryan Doors, the Natty Pro, who I've been making videos with, it was very encouraging when he gave me feedback on the videos I gave him. And it's nice to feel recognition. And so maybe that's part of it, is to just collab with someone. I think in some ways we feel more connected now than ever, even though we're not in person. The opportunity to collab is seamless these days. And we all know this, and this is what the rebels have been trying to preach, is that, you know, whatever funk you're in, it is a mindset. And, you know, you can have all these people that you aspire, admire, but it's a mindset. It's your own perspective. Only you can kind of snap you out of that funk. Another thing that I kind of picked up from, I'm sure you guys have heard of a guy named Tony Robbins. I believe he kind of created the phrase motion creates emotion. And so if it's a workout, if it's kind of dancing in your pajamas at home, whatever you got to do, kind of get out of bed, get off the couch, start moving. And I think your emotion will kind of change with that. If kind of simply shifting your perspective isn't helping, kind of getting out of your funk and physically moving should do the trick.
So been definitely just trying to stay positive through all of this. I could say, like, when I'm not busy, it's usually when like COVID-19 thoughts appear and just more negative stuff, or just feeling like I'm isolated, like, okay, we quarantine, we can't go nowhere, but like those thoughts only appear when I'm not exercising my energy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you really gotta, depending on how creative of a person you are, like me, I can sit here and just daydream, and that'll do it for me. Some people need more physical activity, so you really have to be self-aware of who you are and what you need to stay sane during these times. But it also falls back down to gratitude. I mean, like I said before, like, there are so many people that are fighting the fight on the front lines. You and I, like, we all have the luxury of being on this live stream and just jamming about how to stay sane, whereas there are other people like getting sick or trying to prevent others from getting sick. And now we're just talking corona. There are still people getting shot every day. There's still people getting heart attacks. There's still people getting strokes. Life is still happening outside of coronavirus. And so we have this luxury to practice a new skill set, to learn a new skill. Others, not so, you know. So it falls down to gratitude, you know, be grateful about the situation.
Grateful.
Yeah. When you remind yourself that you're grateful of the current situation and that there are people literally dying, and it's untimely. People that should have had so much more time to live are dying. So when we remember how grateful we are to be in a situation to just pick up a new skill set, I think the boredom typically goes out the window. It should, at least it does for me.
Definitely.
So we have about 3 minutes before we have to end. Is there any like last things you want to share, Victor, about, I think especially like how people are dealing with it mental health wise, or people are struggling with COVID-19, that comes to your mind?
I think the biggest thing is going to be to reach out. So if you're not struggling, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're actually thriving, and you have like 5 to 10 minutes on your hand, go ahead and FaceTime someone that kind of popped into your head and reach out to them, reach out to family members. You know, I probably feel closer to some friends than family members. And I could do a better job at that. And so if I'm thinking of a certain family member, especially if they're international, they're not in the US, I should be checking in on them. A couple weeks ago, one of my cousins checked in and asked how I was doing. He lives in the UK, and he actually has COVID. He's just self-isolating and he's doing okay, but he's the one that checked in on me. So I should do a better job on checking in on other people, whether that's FaceTiming, calling, or text messaging. We have the time. I mean, you and I have the time. Other people might not have that time to check in on people, but I think that connection, regardless of a physical one, but this FaceTime connection could do the mind a lot of justice for both ways, people that are thriving and people that are kind of in a funk. I think reaching out and checking in on one another could do yourself and others justice.
All right. I
That was
love that.
amazing.
I love that people who are in a privileged position and have time can use that to help. And then that could help the people who are in an unfortunate situation and don't have that capability. And I think that's the opportunity right now, is that, yeah, people are sitting home like, oh, people are struggling. Like, yeah, I know, but how many shows did you watch, 5 minutes ago? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I feel like, and I think we can all do whatever occurs to us. For some people, it is very simple. It's just calling a friend, or it is, I actually need this to slow down. I've been speeding 3,000 miles per hour in my life, and this allows me to get a little bit of perspective just for myself. And that's the best thing that could happen. And for others, it's like, oh, I can leverage this situation to really help a lot of people. And I think that makes it unique in terms of what you can bring. So I think that's a good point. All right. Any last word from the Rebels to Victor? We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it was
Victor.
fun.
Really appreciate you coming out too, man. What I was say, damn, I just lost my train of thought. This car just drove past. Your clothing line, is something new coming up with that?
Yeah, I was gonna do a photo shoot session with some new merch, but this whole social distancing kind of put a roadblock in that. But I have a new kind of theme coming out called "Where's Your Top?" And there might be some sexual connotation to it, but it's not sexual at all. It's more like, where is your ideal work-life balance? So where's your top? Because I used to say the phrase, see you at the top, but not everyone has the same top, right? So figure out, be very self-aware of what your ideal work-life balance. Some people work to live, some people live to work. And so figure out what that is for you. And I think that's your goal. That's your destination after you figured it out. And so that's kind of the theme of the next kind of merch drop that'll be coming out after the social distancing is lifted.
Man, so y'all get in tune with that, man.
Yeah, check him out on Instagram. I am consciously curious, and on all, Spotify, Google Play, Apple everywhere. You're everywhere. So
pretty much everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
People think I'm on YouTube, but I'm everywhere.
my man is
I
everywhere.
am consciously curious. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Victor.
Get
All
some
right.
of that merch,
Safe,
man.
guys. Yep.
So,
All right.
see you soon.
Bye.
All right.
I love Victor, man.
All right.
Real
He's
guys,
cool.
man. We got some real live people. We make a
Very
change.
cool, man.
All right. So we got Corey first, and then we got Victor. And for people who are just now joining in, these interviews are basically to talk from different people from different circumstances that have their own internal experience of what's going on and just share human to human stories and advice. And I loved what Corey said. I love what Victor had. So I'm looking forward to having more people on next week.
And y'all,
Yes.
anybody that's trying to share a mission, that's trying to say something, let me know, man. Let us know. We're gonna get them on here and they're gonna spit their piece, man. So
We looking forward
All right.
to next Thursday for the next surprise guest we're gonna have on here. So
All right. Thank you
got
so
it.
much, everyone.
See y'all. Be safe.